Good afternoon. My name is Teresa Schumann, and it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to our Academic Awards ceremony as we gather virtually to celebrate just some of the accomplishments of these hardworking and talented young women who will be honored here today. It is truly a privilege to serve in my role as Dean of Studies at Assumption, because in that role, I get a first-hand perspective of the hard work, drive, and dedicated use of their talent that these young women have exhibited that has earned an invitation to this ceremony. Each year, Assumption student leaders select a theme that they hope will set the tone for the year. As our girls know, and many of you are probably aware, this year's theme is We Are Home. In picking this theme last spring in the midst of so much uncertainty, the student leaders sought to remind us that we are so much more than a group of diverse people who go to school and work together in the same building. Instead, we are a group of people who come together to be what is best about home to each other. A community where each of our students can be seen for who she is and loved for that. Where our students feel comfortable and supported in exploring new ideas and interests, and also a place where we love each other enough to say, work hard and be the best of you. Definitely at Assumption, home means seeing the gifts in each other and in ourselves and in striving to reach our full potential. Encouraging each other not to be defeated, but to learn and grow in the face of challenges, and helping each other to make the most of each and every moment that we have in this community. As I think about the girls we honor today, there is no doubt that they have and are continuing to meet the challenge implicit in this theme. That they are honored today is evidence that these girls embrace a growth mindset, which empowers them to step up to challenges, to enjoy success, but also appreciate the growth that comes from failure, and to know that innate ability is a gift, but one that must be put to good use. We cannot wait to see how you continue to use your talents and potential this school year. Of course, it goes without saying that these girls have been supported and challenged by those who have always been home to them. You, their parents and family members, who have instilled that growth mindset while assisting them in maximizing their talents. No one knows better than you the effort and occasional failures it takes to be honored here today. You provide support in every way imaginable, from driving her to interview someone for a paper she is writing, to willingly saying yes to the request to quiz your girl over study guides just when you were getting ready to go to bed, or being at the ready with a scoop of ice cream to hear about the presentation that didn't go well or the test she just aced. We are so lucky that you have decided to share your daughter with Assumption, and we do our best each day to honor our partnership by making sure she is well educated and well loved. So we are so glad to have this time together to celebrate the accomplishments already earned and to look forward to what each of these girls wants to make of this school year. As we do, we want to pause to give thanks to our God. Our Director of Campus Ministry, Mary Ann Studerman, will lead us in prayer.
Please pray with me. Source of all wisdom, our God, we thank you. We thank you for the miracle of your work in the lives of these students, these parents, and these teachers. We thank you for the hours spent learning and planning, for the security of our homes, for the sunlight of this day, for the warmth of hugs and encouraging words, for the freedom to be here and the faith to trust you. May we realize your presence in each other and see the miraculous in all our common experiences. In the midst of our celebrating, we ask for your healing embrace for all those affected by war, poverty, natural disasters, or brokenness in mind, body, or spirit. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Lang, President of Assumption, and I have the distinct privilege and pleasure of introducing our speaker today, Patty Murphy Macasaria, a member of the class of 1990. Patty's a civic volunteer, philanthropist, and citizen of the world who is passionate about our global community. She has dedicated herself to the power of kindness and inclusion, while also striving to empower young leaders to advocate on a variety of global issues. Patty holds a bachelor's degree in both management and management information systems from St. Louis University and dual master's degrees in health administration and business administration from the University of Minnesota. Now, after finishing her graduate education, Patty moved abroad to embark on an international journey which spanned 23 years, living in Moscow, London, and Singapore. Among her many philanthropic endeavors, one initiative that holds a very special place in our hearts here at Assumption is Operation Smile. This organization has had an amazing impact worldwide by providing life-saving and life-changing cleft lip and cleft palate surgeries for children in developing countries across the globe. Patty's involvement in Operation Smile was inspired by a mission trip she took to India, where she was confronted with such abject and pervasive poverty that she knew she wanted to take action. But she also wanted to get others involved. Knowing the power of young people and the impact they can make when exposed to an inspiring cause, Patty decided to harness this power to make change in some of the poorest areas of the world. Patty brought the idea of an Operation Smile Club to Assumption in 2015, the first such club in Kentucky. In the very first year of our club being established, an Assumption senior participated in a medical mission trip working at a hospital in Madagascar. During that trip, more than 300 children were screened, and over 170 surgeries were performed in just 1 week. In the past 5 years, Assumption has had 7 students participate in international medical mission trips in various parts of the world, caring for hundreds of children and their families. To this date, Operation Smile remains one of our largest clubs here at Assumption. More than just the opportunity to participate in international mission trips and conferences, this club offers students the chance to bolster their leadership skills, grow into greater leadership roles, and develop a deeper awareness and appreciation for global issues. The result of Patty's work has led to the creation of more clubs in the United States, and in fact has inspired other high schools right here in Louisville to open their own chapters of Operation Smile. Patty credits her time here at Assumption for growing her into a servant leader and is grateful for this opportunity to impact the next generation of Assumption servant leaders. Although she's spent much of her adult life traveling the globe, Patty is now happy to be a little bit closer to home and currently lives in New York City with her husband Vladimir, her son Max, while her other 2 children, Alex and Alyssa, are away at college. Please join me in welcoming our speaker today, Patty Murphy Macasaria.
Good afternoon. Even though we aren't together in person, I'm envisioning all the wonderful faculty and staff at Assumption, the loved ones, the supportive parents, friends, and most importantly, the academic superstars we are here to celebrate today. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations. You have given so much of yourself to achieve what you have, and I applaud you. I think it's important that we recognize that this is a particularly difficult time for everyone. COVID has changed our lives. There's just no arguing about that. And although this is a trying time, I think we will look back and find that it was also a time of growth. We are learning resilience, and we can and will become better versions of ourselves by living through this. I also want to thank you. Thank you for choosing Assumption. I know there are other options available, and for many, it's a challenge to go to school here. As an alumna of Assumption myself, I am grateful that you have chosen to be a part of this community. When I received the invitation to be speaker for this event, I'm not going to lie, I was shocked. I understand what an honor it is. Assumption is graced to have an extensive collection of distinguished alumni. So thank you to the faculty and staff for believing in me and giving me this opportunity. I thought for a very long time about what I wanted to talk to you about today. Actually, preparing for this has been a little trip down memory lane. I've looked at old photos and called some fellow classmates, and I considered what changed at Assumption through the years and what stayed the same. And all my discovery, it kept leading me back to 3 core values: a commitment to excellence, compassion for others, and a respect for diversity. I would like to explain to you how Assumption fostered those values in me and how they have been a huge part of my life journey. But I also don't want to bore you. I know that you could be on your phones right now, and I wouldn't have any idea. So I decided I would explain it to you with a story, a true story of 3 Assumption students and their connection. Once upon a time, in the late 80s, there were 3 young women attending Assumption High School, and they were the best of friends. One of the women I think you guys know pretty well. I believe your principal goes by Mrs. Tedesco now, but for the purpose of this story, we'll be calling her Martha. Then there was Shelley, a curly-haired field hockey player, and me. I think we were probably a lot like you. We were involved in different sports and clubs, service projects, and student government. We had part-time jobs and got detentions for chewing gum. And of course, we rolled our skirts up. We, just like you, went on retreat every year. We explored our faith and spirituality and grew comfortable thinking about connectedness with both each other and God. I remember writing and receiving retreat letters so thick, pages long, rich with love and kind words for each other. Do you remember the theme of your freshman retreat? I am real. We had the same theme for ours. And we also learned that each of us is real, and to appreciate and love not only ourselves, but others, and not for whom they thought they should be, but actually for whom they were, embracing our differences and celebrating them. The faculty and staff always expected our best and helped us achieve it. They were a strong and intellectual group of women and men who truly cared for us. I am eternally grateful for their constant presence and unwavering commitment, challenging us along the way. It certainly wasn't the easiest thing for them or us. We spent long hours on schoolwork. I remember one night in particular, pulling an all-nighter at Shelley's house to finish articles for the school newspaper. I think that was also the same night that we melted an entire brick of Velveeta cheese, combined it with a bottle of salsa, and downed it with chips. Surprisingly, we weren't sick, and yes, we did finish the articles on time. We learned to strive for excellence in all parts of our lives and expect the very best of ourselves. I also remember that school was a very kind place. Lockers were always plastered with signs of happy birthday or good luck, and we helped each other through disappointments and failures. I remember a time that was particularly embarrassing for me. I had been on my grade school's basketball team for 4 years, and I had played on Assumption's freshman basketball team. So when I got cut from tryouts sophomore year for the JV team, I was devastated. I remember sitting on the back steps thinking to myself, how am I going to tell my friends? Everyone's expecting me to be on the team. But the next day at school, it was a non-issue. Nobody looked at me funny in homeroom or my classes, and Martha said to me, okay, no big deal. What else do you think you're going to try? And that was that. I lived through it, and I learned from it. Compassion and kindness were an everyday part of our lives. Assumption was a safe place for us. It was our family. It was our second home. I remember feeling complete and connected to the people in my life. But then it was time to leave. Our paths were diverging, and I couldn't help wonder, was this just a bubble? Would our connection withstand the test of time and distance? Keeping in touch was difficult. This was the early 90s. No internet, no cell phones, and you had to pay for long-distance calls. Snapping was not an option. It continued to get even tougher as the years went on. Martha ended up staying in Louisville to start her career, a very lucky thing for you all here today. Shelley headed to Oregon to become a therapist and a social worker. And I ended up moving from America to Russia with my Russian fiancé. We were all heading off, literally into opposite ends of the world, to lead unique lives which suited our vastly different characters and needs. The years slowly passed, but somehow, whenever that special occasion happened where we did manage to meet up, like a wedding or a 20-year reunion, we picked up right where we left off. How was that connection still so strong, even though we led such different lives? We still shared those values instilled upon us, our common commitment to excellence, our compassion for others, and respect for diversity had shown through in all of our lives. Martha, as you can imagine, has always been a star. It certainly didn't surprise Shelley nor me when she became principal of Assumption. She was our class president then, and she still organizes us for reunions. Like all of us, she also has suffered her failures and understands struggle, but she has grit. When she encounters a challenge, she stands up taller and faces it head on. She has worked tirelessly at Assumption as a student, as a teacher, as an administrator. And that's just her work life. She's passionate about her family, her friends, her children, and her church. Her dedication to foster community in all areas of her life has benefited hundreds, if not thousands of people. As long as I have known her, she has embodied this commitment to excellence. Shelley's life journey, in my view, has been guided by her deeply ingrained compassion for others. Shelley has suffered tremendous loss. Her mother died of cancer when we were still in high school. And although she says today that school for her was a haven and a safe place after her mom's death, I remember that Shelley was our rock and the person to whom we turned for strength. Shelley always listens with the intent to understand you and to assist those in need. She is eloquent and thoughtful with her words. Those talents and skills, combined with her integrity, her spiritual connectedness, and compassion for others, makes her the phenomenal therapist, mother, and friend she is today. As for me, the journey has been an international one. My husband and I decided to move to Moscow after graduate school so I could learn Russian, get to know his family, and understand his culture better. We said we would stay 5 years. Well, it actually ended up being 23 years abroad, much to my parents' dismay. But it was the best decision of my life. I had the privilege of living in Moscow for 13 years. I was there before Putin was president. Then we moved to London for 4 years and then on to Singapore for 7. It was a life-changing opportunity getting to experience these 3 amazing places up close. It was fascinating and exotic, and it was stressful and exasperating. I found that the key to being able to adapt to these very different environments wasn't just about mastering the language. The key was to treat everyone with respect and kindness. To understand that just because I do something one way doesn't necessarily make it the right way. I learned to be patient and to listen and to observe. Paying attention to people's traditions and respecting those traditions, no matter how silly they may seem, is important. The little things can make a big difference. For instance, it's very bad luck to whistle inside in Russia, or it's disrespectful to receive money or business card from someone with just one hand in Singapore. It was challenging raising 3 children, moving country to country, new schools, new languages, new friends. But we learned to adapt and we became resilient. And we all found that connection is possible with anyone, anywhere, as long as you respect them and are kind to them with your whole heart. One of our family's most incredible experiences has been our involvement with the international charity Operation Smile. This is an organization that provides cleft lip and palate surgeries for children in third world countries. We've traveled to China, Morocco, and India. On a mission in Guwahati, India, we were in one of the poorest places in the world. We saw so much poverty and illness and need, but we also saw joy and kindness and generosity in those faces, and we found connection with them. It was truly a humbling experience for me. I felt blessed that I was able to witness the example of these extraordinary people who were suffering through extraordinary things, and I wanted to share it. As I was standing in line, waiting for the airplane to fly from Guwahati to Singapore, it struck me. I want to take this and give it back to my family at Assumption. I wrote Martha an email the very next day, and the faculty and the students just ran with it. An ambitious student, Holly, led the first Operation Smile Club at Assumption and in all of Kentucky. Not surprisingly, there was an overwhelmingly wonderful response from the students. It was an amazing example of the Sisters of Mercy's values truly at work: a swift response to need, a desire to serve, and a real concern for social justice. The following year, Assumption's Op Smile Club won the prestigious International Award for Best New Club, a truly deserved honor. By learning to love ourselves and be kind to each other all those years ago, we were set free. We were free to raise our hand even if we weren't sure that the answer was 100% right. We were free to take a risk and move around the world. We were free to make mistakes, as we must do to learn. But we were also free to excel and to lead and to be the best at something. Our connection endured time and distance and provided us a space to be the powerful women we knew we were. The core of compassion, commitment to excellence, and respect for diversity will serve you well on your own journeys. The connection you feel today with your own school family isn't a fairy tale or a bubble about to burst. It's an enduring, supportive force that will be with you always. You have been blessed with those values and have everything inside of you that you need to forge ahead with courage and strength. Once more, I applaud you for your achievements, but more importantly, for your efforts and your dedication. I look forward to the day when we're all able to walk the halls of our beloved school again together with unmasked smiles. But for now, remember, our connection is strong and enduring, and it will remain that way as long as we continue to seek it out. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Judy Fieldhouse, Dean of Studies for students whose last names begin with A through K. The afternoon of the academic banquet is always one of the most beautiful Sundays of the fall. So I hope you are enjoying this together today, somewhere where maybe you can see a little bit of the blue skies and some sunshine. This is also where I normally tell the students how we will be giving them practice walking across the stage and shaking hands for all the times in their future where we know that she will be honored. So I hope that when your daughter's name comes on the screen, you will have her walk across the kitchen or the living room, shake her hand, and then give her thunderous applause. I don't have to name the part that says hold your applause till the end, because you can just give her all the applause you want. So maybe a tiny pandemic positive, as I like to call these types of things. We begin by honoring those students recognized by the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. National merit status is based on a student's performance on the PSAT taken during her junior year. The National Merit Scholarship Corporation recognizes the students who scored in approximately the top half of the top 1% out of the 1.5 million students who took the test. These students will continue in the competition to become National Merit finalists, and will receive a $2,500 scholarship and also be eligible to compete for over $35 million in corporate scholarships. Assumption is proud to recognize 2 National Merit semifinalists, Amelia Casson and Sarah Cook. Also of note, for 4 of the past 5 years, Assumption has had as many or more National Merit semifinalists as all of the other Louisville Catholic girls' schools combined. We are so proud that if a student with the ability to achieve at such a high level comes to Assumption, we will get her there. The National Merit Scholarship Corporation also recognizes the students who score in the 98th percentile on the PSAT as National Merit Commended students. Assumption is proud to honor 6 students who have been recognized as National Merit Commended students for their academic promise. They are Josie Chitwood, Megan Northup, Christina Overly, Amelia Roush, and Madeline Will. I would now like to give a brief description of each of the remaining awards that you will see with each student's name listed on a slide as we proceed with her awards. And you can also see the full list of awards in our program. College Board recognizes students' performance on AP exams. Our students will be recognized with additional AP Scholar recognition as they progress through Assumption High School and graduate, but several students have already received this designation. An AP Scholar is a student who has earned scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. An AP Scholar with Honors is a student who has earned an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams. And an AP Scholar with Distinction is a student who has earned an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. We will also recognize the students who achieved a 4.0 year-end grade point average for the 2019-2020 school year. This is certainly a wonderful accomplishment, one to be very proud of and only achieved through lots of hard work, persistence, and this year, reliable Wi-Fi. Congratulations, ladies, for accomplishing this in a most unusual year. We also recognize the newly inducted members into our National Honor Society. The National Honor Society is a national organization for students who maintain a 3.7 cumulative GPA and who demonstrate outstanding leadership, character, and service to both their school and the community. Students apply through a lengthy application process, complete with recommendations, which are reviewed by a committee. It is certainly a great honor at Assumption to be a member of the National Honor Society. The other group recognized today is the 2020 Beta Club inductees. The Beta Club is also a national organization dedicated to honoring academic achievement and encouraging school and community activities. Members are expected to maintain a cumulative GPA of at least 3.5, participate in club activities, and complete at least 20 service hours. Congratulations, ladies. Please enjoy seeing your classmates' accomplishments as you move through our show today, and be sure and stand, walk across that floor, and let your family honor you with all the hoots and hollers they want. We now recognize the class of 2024 Macaulay Scholars. These are our freshman Macaulay Scholars who, based on their performance on the high school placement test and teacher recommendations, are in all advanced level classes. To continue to be a Macaulay Scholar, we ask these young ladies to maintain a 3.5 GPA while they remain in all advanced level classes and take at least 4 AP classes before they graduate. In our final group today are those newly inducted Macaulay Scholars. These students have either transferred to Assumption or chose to challenge themselves with this course of studies after their freshman year began. Congratulations to these Macaulay Scholars and to all of our students recognized here today.
Madeline Bell, Reagan Gilmore, Riley Hendrick, Claire Hudson, Addison Hulsman, Aaron Hines, Lauren Kamer, Sarah Keel, Sam Cook, Josie McRae, Emmy Murphy, Lola Pate, Layla Pierce, Olivia Reynolds, Lily Rice, Riley Sandifer, Madeline Schellenberger, Ava Swan, Olivia Thomas, Liz Udo, Marie Worms, Kaylee Welch, Maddie Whitworth, Ella Widman, Audrey Wintergerst, Taylor Allen, Anna Alphin, Bella Bergner, Miranda Bilodeau, Lainey Blood, Kylie Bowling, Josie Brown, Lily Burchett, Ashlyn Burkett, Zoe Chapman, Grace Corbel, Gracie Crawford, Allie Dahlhair, Josie Dye, Drew Dillon, Callie Edmonds, Tyler Everslage, Caitlin Evola, Ava Fears, Madison Gardner, Liesl Gresseth, Caroline Henke, Caroline Hodges, Mackenzie James, Ella Jenkins, Shay Karam, Zoe Kelly, Kate Kolakowski, Sophia Kukla, Jordan Kaiser, Elise Leventovich, Elizabeth Lucas, Lane Monjo, Claire Mazer, Abby McClellan, Aaliyah McDonald, Kate Merriweather, Ellie Meyer, Jacqueline Mikulek, Molly Moore, Aaliyah Nawab, Shazia Nawab, Emma Nevitt, Mary Wynn, Elizabeth Overly, Kennedy Pierce, Sophia Poma, Maya Pitko, Ava Rich, Hannah Riddle, Gabby Rosema, Sydney Rudisell, Mary Claire Schmidt, Julia Schreck, Morgan Schultz, Lauren Schweitzer, Ashlyn Shea, Kate Sherman, Taylor Shoemaker, Landry Sipes, Virginia Spalding, Taylor Starcher, Lydia Stevens, Macy Stone, Leela Thompson, Ashley Tierney, Erin Troutman, Caroline Unruh, Callie Waldridge, Emily Whitecole, Whitney Woodrow, Lily Adams, Maddie Allgaier, Emily Altsman, Rachel Atkins, Elizabeth Austin, Sydney Badon, Allie Baker, Erin Benzon, Gracie Bartley, Emma Bauer, Haley Byerly, Lily Berry, Grace Bentz, Josie Bodie, Sophie Bolden, Gracie Bowling, Mallory Bowling, Sophie Bowling, Allie Brown, Kenzie Carruthers, Katie Chambers, Emily Searmons, Daniela Clements, Teresa Curry, Sarah Dahl, Jacina Deffler, Emma DeCincy, Marley Diamond, Anna Dearkin, Avery DeBosey, Sarah Dolly, Emily Donahue, Caitlin Douglas, Lauren Durr, Lucy Dunham, Ella Durbin, Haley Elder, Raylan Elder, Emma Ellison, Riley Elliott, Maggie Ernst, Molly Evola, Mary Favier, Carly Fawcett, Katie Flaherty, Terrace Foster, Hailey Frederick, Allison Gates, Reagan Gibson, Sarah Glenn, Kendall Gazzardo, Morgan Hall, Callie Hall, Caroline Hamilton, Rachel Hamilton, Katie Hammond, Ella Hardy, Emily Harlemert, Aubrey Harris, Jasmine Harry, Emma Hart, Izzy Haas, Abigail Hayes, Sydney Hendrick, Kaylee Hendrickson, Jackie Ho, Isabella Horrigan, Catherine Hudson, Ella Ironside, Sophia Jarbo, Hannah Gemley, Lily Jenkins, Sophie Jerome, Kylie Johnson, Riley Kamer, Abby Coughlin, Kate Coughlin, Maggie Keith, Lakin Kirby, Rachel Kitchen, Ellie Canoop, Natalie Cook, Anna Koberline, Anna Kolakowski, Kylie Craig, Caroline Krebs, Christina Krebs, Sammy Ladagast, Abby Lampkin, Ellie Landock, Keely Langford, Anna Lanham, Gabby Lanham, Maris Lanham, Sydney Lanham, Erica Lapina, Cameron LaRue, Ireland Lakowski, Addison Legal, Callie Lucas, Kayla Luzio, Haley Magnuson, Molly Monjo, Kyla Martin, Chloe Mason, Chelsea Mattingly, Lauren McClellan, Emily McCurry, Sophia Milner, Kaylee Mitchell, Claire Mansour, Kinsey Morgan, Taylor Nelson, Jocelyn Nguyen, Kendall Norenbrock, Allison O'Donnell, Camille Ogden, Hadley O'Coon, Katie O'Neill, Sydney Ott, Alice Palmer, Olivia Pataluna, Cameron Payne, Emily Payne, Sabrina Peak, Jaden Payton, Natalie Pogue, Ashley Pope, Rachel Porter, Maya Potter, Hope Preischel, Meg Ralston, Emily Reedy, Georgia Reinecke, Maria Riley, Emma Rogers, Kaylee Rogenkamp, Kaylee Roths, Carly Ruckriegel, Taylor Rudisell, Izzy Rushing, Grace Russell, Delaney Saltzman, Kennedy Schaefer, Samantha Schaefer, Molly Schur, Caroline Schumann, Samantha Shelton, Emma Seeger, Peyton Seymour, Kelsey Shelby, Amelia Shepard, Kelsey Skeeters, Olivia Smith, Abby Snotter, Hadley Snyder, Maggie Spath, Emily Speaker, Mary Claire Stukenborg, Ellen Tatum, Maria Tobin, Sadie Townsend, Rosie Tricase, Maddie Vaughn, Jenna Vogt, Olivia Voss, Addison Wallingford, Emma Warren, Emma Weigel, Anna Welch, Ella Welch, Gracie West, Caroline Whaley, Ava Wheeler, Braylon Willman, Isabel Weinbrenner, Reese Winters, Bailey Wright, Ellie Worth, Brenna Wyman, Crawford Addison, Emily Allen, Marcy Ansert, Hannah Balthrop, Ella Bidwell, Elizabeth Bonbright, Brielle Boudreau, Julia Bradford, Libby Brinkard, Allie Brooks, Morgan Birch, Kayla Burnham, Sophie Calvert, Katie Campbell, Olivia Casey, Amelia Casson, Caroline Cermak, Josie Chitwood, Julia Connolly, Aliana Conway, Chloe Corso, Marcela de Leon Vasquez, Josie Dillon, Stephanie Dolan, Olivia Donhoff, Whitney Dreher, Liz Dorr, Amanda Duvall, Sarah Edlin, Mia Finaldi, Cassidy Fisher, Chloe Freilinger, Lauren Gardner, Elena Nattinger, Julia Gordon, Maddie Greider, Harper Hall, Marissa Harris, Emily Hieronymus, Sophie Herbig, Megan Hodge, Brianna Horan, Allie Howard, Miranda Jansen, Emma Johnson, Abby Jones, Becca Klein, Sarah Cook, Grace Larkin, Emily Letterly, Erin Leventovich, Jane Luckett, Haley McEnany, Ellie Metzmeyer, Carly Myers, Kaylee Manier, Sam Moore, Meredith Moser, Nyla Nawab, Caroline Nett, Alyssa Newbacher, Megan Newman, Jacqueline Wynn, Megan Northup, Annie O'Day, Christina Overly, Olivia Paston, Michaela Pate, Drew Pennick, Molly Potter, Madeline Powell, Kaylee Prince, Emma Pitko, Amelia Rausch, Julia Renz, Morgan Rice, Molly Ricketts, Sienna Riley, Deidre Runkle, Lily Sasser, Mary Shook, Tricia Sexton, Savannah Shaw, Sarah Sheffer, Nicole Sheridan, Reagan Cisnowski, Mimi Steinbach, Claire Stemmer, Kaylee Stowers, Riley Stull, Nicole Tate, Jenny Wessling, Kate Wheeler, Sydney Whalen, Kate Widman, Madeline Will, Courtney Williams, Caitlin Woodard, Kaylee Worth.
Good afternoon. I'm Martha Tedesco, Principal. It's so good to be here celebrating with you all today, and I'm so excited that you got to meet one of my very best high school friends. I'll be honest, I was a bit nervous when Mrs. Lang asked my Assumption classmate to give the address today, because you never know what stories a good friend might share. Thankfully, I have a very good friend in Patty. As she mentioned, her time with you today was like a trip down memory lane for her. But for me, well, I have that trip down memory lane every day. You see, when I look at you, my Assumption girls, I see Patty in some of you, Shelley in others, and occasionally I even see myself in you. The drive for excellence has not changed over the years in the students at Assumption. Patty shared with you a little bit about our experience at Assumption. We were 3 girls just like you. We worked hard, were involved, and excelled in our classes. We know firsthand what you have had to do to be honored here today. And we know it isn't always easy. High school is hard and challenging. I also know this because my oldest child, my son, is a high schooler this year. My son is like you, smart, driven, and also incredibly human. Grade school was a breeze for him, and he had told me repeatedly that he was ready for the challenge of high school. But this week, I got a text from my son after school that said, "I failed my first high school test." Now, as a parent, I'll admit, my first thought was to fire back with a "I told you so." High school was going to rock your world, that you were in for a rude awakening. But then I channeled my inner teacher mom and simply replied back, "Honestly, that's not unusual. You will have more grades. It's okay." I bet you can all remember the first time in high school that something was really hard, that didn't come naturally, that made you pause and realize that you might have to up your game with your study habits, or you received a grade that you weren't used to receiving. In reality, my son hadn't technically failed the test, but the grade he did receive was not one he was accustomed to earning, so he felt like a failure. But he'll figure it out, just like you have figured it out. You worked really hard, and here you are. So students, you are here today because of your God-given excellence in the area of academics, and we are so proud of you. You have worked hard to achieve your excellent grades and these wonderful honors, and we commend you for it. And it's that commitment to excellence that has empowered you to be successful. Congratulations. Thank you, students, parents, faculty, and staff, for being with us today to celebrate these amazing young women. Have a wonderful afternoon.